Students, this is your economics teacher Ayana. I hope you are well and utilizing the time wisely.
Previous class, you learned about the fourth chapter, consumption and investment function. Today, you are going to learn about fifth chapter, monetary economics. Firstly, we will discuss about the meaning of money, definition of money, evaluation of money and functions of money. Please watch this video very carefully till the end. Okay, fine. Let us enter into the fifth chapter, monetary economics. First, we will discuss the meaning of money. Students, take the page number 76. Meaning. Money is one of the most fundamental of mankind. Every branch of knowledge has its fundamental discovery. In machines, it is the wheel. In science, fire. In politics, the vote. Similarly, in economics, in the whole commercial side of man's social existence, money is the essential invention on which all the rest is based. Before we study monetary economics, we shall study about the nature and functions of money. Money has become so important that the modern economy is described as money economy. Modern economy cannot work without money. See the paragraph. Money is anything that is generally accepted as payment for goods and services and repayments of debts and that serves as medium of exchange. A medium of exchange is anything that is widely accepted as a means of payments. In recent years, the importance of credit has increased in all the countries of the world. Credit instruments are used on an extensive scale. The use of checks, bills of exchange, etc. has gone up. It should, however, be remembered that money is the basis of credit. D.H. Robertson defines money based on its general acceptability as anything which is widely accepted in payment for goods or in discharge of other kinds of business obligation. Among these, definition of Walker and Crowther are given below. Money is what money does. Walker. Money can be anything that is generally acceptable as a means of exchange and at the same time acts as a measure and a store of value. Crowther. Thirdly, we will discuss evaluations of money. Barter system. The introductions of money as the medium of exchange was one of the greatest invention of mankind. Even in early days of development, the need for exchange arose. But exchange took place first in the form of barter. Barter is the direct exchange of goods for goods. It is a system of trading without the use of money. In the past, when wants of men were a few and simple, the barter system worked well. But as their days passed by, it was found to be unsuitable. It had many difficulties. Before money was invented, exchange took place by barter. That is, commodities and services were directly exchanged for other commodities and services. Under the barter system, buyer and sellers of commodities had to face a number of difficulties. For example, if a person who has a cow wants a horse in exchange, the other person must have it and he must need a cow. Otherwise, exchange cannot take place. Again, there is the difficulty of storage. Money serves as a store of value. In the absence of money, a person has to store his wealth in the form of commodities and they cannot be stored for a long time. For some commodities are perishables and some will lose their values. Surplus goods were exchanged for money, which in turn was exchanged for other needed goods. Goods like furs, skins, salt, rice, wheat, utensils, weapons, etc. were commonly used as money. Such exchange of goods for goods was known as barter exchange or barter system. Next, metallic standard. After the barter system and commodity money system, modern money system evolved. Among these, metallic standard is the premier one. Under metallic standard, some kind of metal, either gold or silver, is used to determine the standard value of the money and currency. Standard coins made out of the metals are the principal coins used under the metallic standard. The standard coins are full-bodied or full-weighted legal tender. Their face value is equal to their intrinsic or proper metal value. Next, gold standard. Gold standard is a system in which the value of monetary unit or the standard currency is directly linked with gold. The monetary units is defined in terms of a certain weight of gold. The purchasing power of a unit of money is maintained equal to the value of a fixed weight of gold. Next, silver standard. The silver standard is a monetary system in which the standard economic unit of account is a fixed weight of silver. The silver standard is a monetary arrangement in which a country's government allows conversion of its currency into fixed amount of silver. Next, paper currency standard refers to the monetary system which the paper currency notes issued by the treasury or the central government or RBI or both circulate as unlimited legal tender. Paper currency is not convertible into any metal. Its value is determined independent of the value of gold or any other commodity. The paper standard is also known as managed currency standard. The quantity of money in circulation is controlled by the monetary authority to maintain price stability. Plastic money. The latest type of money is plastic money. Plastic money is one of the most evolved form of financial product. Plastic money is an alternative to the cash or standard money. Plastic money is a term that is used predominantly in reference to the hard plastic cards used every day in place of actual bank notes. Plastic money can come in many different forms such as cash cards, credit cards, debit cards, prepaid cash cards, store cards, forex cards and smart cards. They aim at removing the need for carrying cash to make transaction. Last, cryptocurrency. A digital currency in which encryption techniques are used to regulate generations of units of currency and verify the transfer of funds, operating independently of a central bank. Decentralized cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin now provide an outlet for personal wealth that is beyond restriction and confiscation. 1 Bitcoin is equal to 6,83,818 in the time of 19th July 2020. Next, you are going to learn about functions of money. There are 4 functions of money. First, primary function. Second, secondary functions. Third, contingent function. Fourth, other function. First, we will discuss primary functions. There are 2 primary functions. First one, money as a medium of exchange. This is considered as the basic functions of money. Money has the quality of general acceptability, and all exchange take place in terms of money. On account of the use of money, the transaction has now come to be divided into 2 parts. First, money is obtained through sale of goods and service. This is known as sale. Later, money is obtained to buy goods and service. This is known as purchase. Thus, in the modern exchange system, money acts as the intermediary in sales and purchase. In other words, The most important functions of money is that it acts as medium of exchange. Money is accepted freely in exchange for all other goods. Barter system is very inconvenient, so the introductions of money has got over the difficulty of barter. Next, money as a measure of value. The second important functions of money is that it measures the value of goods and services. In other words, the price of all goods and services are expressed in terms of money. Money is thus looked upon as a collective measure of value, since all the values are expressed in terms of money. It is easier to determine the rate of exchange between various types of goods in the community. In short, money acts as a common measure of value. It is a unit of account and a standard of measurement. Whenever we buy a good in the market, we pay a price for it in money. And the price is nothing but value expressed in terms of money. So we can measure the value of a good by the money we pay for it. Just as we use yards and meters for measuring length and kilograms for measuring weights, we use money for measuring the value of goods. It makes economic calculation easy. Second functions of money, secondary function. There are three secondary functions. First, money as a store of value. Savings done in terms of commodities were not permanent. But with the invention of money, this difficulty has now disappeared and savings are now done in terms of money. Suppose the wealth of a man consists of 1,000 cattle. It is rather difficult for him to preserve his wealth in the form of cattle. But if there is money, he can sell his cattle, get money for that, and can store his wealth in the form of money. Money also serves as an excellent store of wealth, as it can be easily converted into other marketable assets such as land, machinery, plant, etc. Second secondary function, money as standard of deferred payments. Borrowing and lending were difficult problems under the barter system in the absence of money. Borrowed amount would be returned only in terms of goods and services. But the modern money economy has greatly facilitated the borrowing and lending process. In other words, money is used as a standard of future or deferred payments. It forms the basis for credit transaction. Business in modern times is based on credit to a large extent. This is facilitated by the existence of money. In credit, since payment is made at a future date, there must be some medium which will have as far as possible the same exchange power in the future as at present. In other words, money now acts as the standard of deferred or future payments. Third, money as a means of transferring purchasing power. The field of exchange also went on extending with the growing economic development. The exchange of goods is now extended to distant land. It is therefore felt necessary to transfer purchasing power from one places to another. Third functions of money, contingent function. There are four contingent functions. First, base of the credit system. Money is the base of the credit system. Business transactions are easier in cash or in credit. For example, a depositor can make use of checks only when there are sufficient funds in his account. The commercial bank credit creates on the business of adequate cash reserves. But money is at the back of all credit. Second, money facilitates distribution of national income. The task of distribution of national income was exceedingly complex under the barter system. But the invention of money has now facilitated the distributions of income as rent, wages, interest, and profits. Third, money helps to equalize marginal utilities and marginal productivity. Consumer can obtain maximum utility only if he incurs expenditure on various commodities in such a manner as to equalize marginal utilities acquiring from them. Now, in equalizing this marginal utility, money plays an important role because the price of all commodities are expressed in money. Money also helps to equalize marginal productivities of various factors of production, that is, land, labor, capital, and organization. Fourth, money increases productivity of capital. Money is the most liquid form of cash. In other words, capital in the form of money can be put to any use. It is an account of this liquidity of money that capital can be transferred from the less productivity to the more productive uses. Last, functions of money, other functions of money. Money helps to maintain repayment capacity. Money possesses the quality of general acceptability. To maintain its repayment capacity, every firm has to keep asset in the form of liquid cash. The firm ensures its repayment capacity with money. Likewise, banks, insurance companies, and even government has to keep some liquid money, that is liquid cash, to maintain their repayment capacity. Second, money represents generalized purchasing power. Purchasing power kept in terms of money can be put to any use. It is not necessary that money should be used only for the purpose of which it has been served. Third, money gives liquidity to capital. Money is the most liquid form of capital. It can be put to any use. Lastly, supply of money. Students, take the page number 81. Supply of money. Money supply means the total amount of money in an economy. It refers to the amount of money which is in circulation is in an economy at any given time. Money supply plays a crucial role in the determinations of price level and interest rate. Money supply viewed at a given point of time is a stock, and over a period of time it is a flow. Meaning of money supply. In India, currency notes are issued by the Reserve Bank of India and coins are issued by the Ministry of Finance, Government of India. Besides this, the balance is saving or current account deposits held by the public in the commercial bank is also considered money. The currency notes are also called fiat money or legal tender. For example, the RBI issues currencies from rupees 2 and above. 1 rupee notes and coins are referred to as fiat money, in the sense that these rupee notes and coins serve as money by the command or fiat of the government. This component of money is issued by an authority of the government and it bears the signature of Secretary, Ministry of Finance. No one can refuse to accept those in payment for transaction and goods and services. This is called legal tender money. Next paragraph. Money supply is a stock variable. From April 1997, the Reserve Bank of India had classified 4 measures of money supply, the recommendations of the Working Group of Money Supply. RBI publishes information for 4 alternative measures of money supply, namely M1, M2, M3 and M4. M1. Currency, coins and demand deposits. That is, currency with the public. It includes coin and currency notes plus demand deposits of the public. Second, M2. M2 is equal to M1 plus saving deposits with the post office saving banks. M3 is equal to M2 plus time deposits of all commercial and cooperative banks. M4 is equal to M3 plus total deposits with the post office. M1 and M2 are also known as narrow money. M3 and M4 are also known as broad money. The gradations are in the decreasing order of liquidity. Next, determinants of money supply. There are 4 determinants of money supply. First, currency deposit ratio. It is the ratio of money held by the public in currency to that they held or hold in bank deposits. Second, reserve deposit ratio, RDR. Reserve money consists of 2 things. First, vault cash in banks. Second, deposits of commercial banks with RBI. Third, cash reserve ratio, CRR. It is the fraction of the deposits that banks must keep with RBI. Fourth, statutory liquidity ratio. It is the fraction of the total demand and time deposits of the commercial banks in the form of specified liquid asset. That's all for today. We will continue in the next class. Finish the assignment by clicking the link below.